What is good, you guys? I'm so glad the original microphone picked up today because the other day I know it sounded a little far away. So, listen, welcome. You know, I'm already going to say it Merry Christmas because y'all already gone. I know how y'all be. Y'all shopping. I'm already in the pajamas. I'm at a pajama party at a house at the beach, okay? It's the night of the pajama party. Yesterday was ugly Christmas sweaters. But, I had to bring on the best, okay?
Appreciate it.
Claus Rally going into 2025. Can we do stock trading with $500?
Yeah.
So we brought on Diamond Dave of the stock market shots. But you guys got to do house cleaning before I come in here. You got to drop your city and state. I know you at home watching. I know you watching from the sidelines. Come on and do right. Let's get it. Let's get it going. Please introduce yourself to the audience today, Mr. Diamond Dave.
What's going on, everybody? Glad y'all came through. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Diamond Dave, founded the highest paid part-time job at the Real Options Trading Academy, founded the Stock Market Sharks Trading Group. Really glad to be here. Talk about the Santa Claus rally, how to try to get into stock trading with around $500 or less. I have a real life example I could talk about from today and then whatever else comes up.
Love it, love it, love it. So listen, some people are confused on what a South Claus rally is. When we start talking about Santa Claus, they thinking this is a shopping discount. Yeah. Are they going to Belk's? Are they going to Macy's? Where are they going for this Santa Claus rally? And I want you to kind of give them a your version of what the definition of a Santa Claus rally is.
What I'm looking for in the Santa Claus rally is a major rally in the overall market. Primarily going to be the S&P, but also going to be the Qs towards the end of the year. So going out mid to late December, but sometimes even maybe going into January. But we want to close the year off on a high point. And often because there's a lot of what I would call exuberance or euphoria in the market. But that's what we're looking for. Historically, we do see that we normally close the end of the year off on a high point, getting ready to go into the next year. Yes, ma'am.
And so, is it because DJG got in there? Is it just because just the way it is? I was reading it's been going on since 2015, but why is that? Is it just, what makes this happen?
Well, there's a lot of different reasons. So one of the biggest reasons, and I want people to understand, is that funds have to buy something, right? So if they're looking to try to make their year, they got to buy something before the end of the year. And then what happens in the market is buying often drives more buying. So one of the things about if you're in a fund is you can lose money in the fund, but you can't miss out on runs. So if we see that a particular sector of the market or the particular market is running, we often have to get in. Then a lot of it can be for tax issues. A lot of it could be just sometimes capital flows like to come in towards the end of the year. And also because our market is so much of our market is kind of based on retail spending. Normally retail spending seasonally is going to come towards the end of the year. So a lot of times people are trying to get positioned in stocks for that Christmas rally. So at the beginning of the year when they report, they're already in their position.
Man, listen, I was just throwing, I have my little pie set to automatic, throw a little money in there to M1 Finance every Tuesday, every Friday. I know it's a weird setting. I used to have it on Monday, Wednesday, but there's a reason I changed it. And you know what? It was saying, man, you done grew your account, girl. I said, what's going on? It was Tesla going through the roof some more. I said, now what's going on with Tesla? What's happening? Because if you ever rode in a Tesla, it's ugly. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so I've been in a few Teslas. It kind of depends on which one you're in. I like the old school one. The one with the suicide doors. Is that what you call them?
The flip up.
Yeah. That's a nice car.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a nice car. It's old school now, though. The issue is this. First off, Tesla has a cult around it. So there's a real legit cult around the stock, and they really believe in the CEO, the founder, and they believe in what they're doing. And so what can happen with Tesla is that there's a lot of euphoria around that ticker. But this is what we'll do, because I want to give something really valuable to your listeners. I don't believe that Elon wants that stock over a certain price.
Okay.
Because he wants to make it attractive to the regular person.
Right.
So what we've seen historically with Tesla, because I've been trading for a minute, it's been $1,500 before. It's been $2,000 before.
Oh, yeah.
And so what Elon has done before is split it to get that price to come back down, because what he does is he wants it affordable to the regular person to make sure that there's volume there and that people can buy it. And one of the biggest reasons is because he lives off that stock. He uses that stock. He sends it to banks. He gets a loan off that stock to support his lifestyle. So he doesn't want the price so high that the average person can't buy it. So what we're looking at is a massive run in Tesla. I'm seeing people now buying options for $800 strikes in the spring and the summer for Tesla.
Right.
But we want to see if Elon is cool with it being that expensive, because I believe he wants Tesla between maybe $250 to $400.
Interesting.
And then he looks to try to get that price back down to make sure that the average person that just works a regular 9 to 5 can buy that stock. But people are positioning themselves for Tesla to go to 1,000 by the end of the summer.
Damn. Yeah. You know, so the crazy part about that to me is the whole working class, you know, I'm here for the working man angle, and Teslas were never cheap cars for the working person to even get into. So that part cracks me up a lot. And I think also too, the left has kind of moved from him, right? Where he was in San Francisco, you know, I use EV cars because I'm a futuristic in the city, inner city kind of person. Now it's like, oh, Tesla, you know, Elon, you know, some people on the left don't want to be associated with Elon. If that makes sense.
I agree with you. So what's going to be really important, I think, this next reporting, which is going to be, I think, in February, and then also the next quarter after that, is because Elon has kind of changed his stance from a political standpoint. Is that going to negatively impact his sales? I'm looking at his California sales really, really tight. In fact, I'm going to subscribe to somebody that can get me some Tesla data, because California was really one of their biggest markets for sales. So I'm trying to find out as he's kind of changed his position, will that negatively impact vehicle sales, which is a large part of their overall sales, right? Does the market that he's kind of appealing to now, they may like him on Twitter, they may like him on the internet, but do they like him enough to buy his stuff? And so that's something that we need to find out. Has he lost his market, or is this product just so good that it doesn't matter what his political stance is? People going to do business with him anyway.
You know, I think at this point, Elon has, when I watched this article, it was saying a trillionaire.
Okay.
And I think what happens is people think of Twitter and Tesla as major businesses. And I don't think of Twitter and Tesla as major. I think the satellites
you're right.
is his major business. I think it's like, and I'll describe it this way. I'm in a mastermind where people have this thing that's the front thing that you see all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this is my active thing. You know, I'm really about this. But over here on the left-hand side, you actually get to meet them. You actually get to know them. That money funnels straight to the other project.
Exactly.
I mean, it runs like a beeline to the other project. And I truly believe the satellite and the in my opinion, as a person who lives in Austin, Texas, and from what I've read, is the satellite technology, where he's got 7,000 satellites he has some type of control or interest in, particular interest in. The solar panels that go inside your house to hold the energy, and the robots inside the hospital telehealth component. Right. So I think those are his real, you know, you're looking at the rockets. That seems all exciting. You're looking at Tesla. Oh, that's exciting. But I really feel like, nah, I'm really over here. Like, I'm really about these satellites. I'm really about this healthcare, because ultimately those have more ties to the government.
I agree with you. I mean, I think what we talked about earlier, I think Tesla, he has to keep that going, because I believe that stock is supporting his lifestyle, and that's what the average person can get access to. His other companies, we can't get exposure to them because they're still private.
Yeah.
And so there is one fund, and I think you posted it, to get access to the SpaceX. But I like the SpaceX because it's a government contract. He does a lot of work with NASA, quiet as kept, regardless of the administration.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I tell people that Elon, and people have to kind of understand this, he's been selected. I remember where this guy started. I remember his build up. I remember where Tesla was at and people's perception of Elon before the pandemic.
Right.
He's been selected to be where he's at. And, you know, once you get past a certain amount of money, it's just a number on a ledger somewhere, because you got so much money and your value is so great, you can't spend it anyway. But he's been low-key selected to be where he's at. And you're right. His ability to do business with the government is what's not only going to make him wealthy, but going to make his family wealthy for generations, because that's the big money. That's the institutional money. And he also has developed the relationships, because now, because of his relationship with Trump, the fact that he can reach out to other leaders in other parts of the world and connect with them, even when Trump leaves office, he's still going to have those relationships.
Oh, yeah. And people still going to reach back. Listen, so best way I can say this is, you want an Elon donating to your campaign.
Exactly.
Elon stroking $1 million check to your campaign off of some little East Tennessee town, some little Georgia town, some little Florida place. It don't mean nothing to him.
Exactly.
But it means the world to you.
Yeah.
So all this we hate Elon. Listen, Elon put some money on somebody in California that's blue. They're gonna be like, oh, Elon's our bestest friend. Like, get out of here with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. let me see. I'm gonna show you. And I don't know if I talked about it on here, but I talked about there was a black guy. He was with Compass Bank.
Okay.
And what happened is, well, he's the founder of Compass. See if I can pull it up real quick. And the reason I wanted to bring it up is I was like, we have black people that are doing, I'm talking about big deal, big level stuff. And we just we aren't posting them often. See if I can pull it up real quick.
I feel you. Yeah, we worried about Jay-Z and Puffy.
Man, every week with black people is something. I heard your stuff a little bit. I was walking the beach today.
Okay.
I was like, oh yeah, let me hear some of this. All right, here he is. Let me show you this.
Okay.
And again, thank you, Ray Gunn, for supporting the channel. Blessings to the two people that really changed my lives. I'm telling you, Ray Gunn showed up to an event I had maybe 5 years ago in Atlanta. 6 foot something basketball player coming in there. I was like, who this man? It had it at the Moxie rooftop.
Okay.
Midtown. And I told people Midtown is going to be where it's at.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I came back that same Midtown and it looked the same no more.
Yeah. I was just in Midtown the other day. Big up to Ray Gunn. He was at your last event.
Yeah. Dr. Chastity. Listen, Dr. Chastity got on the phone with me about 4 good times. We was in there. I was like, let me upload the computer, no modules to the brain. Hold on here. I'm going to record this and rewatch it. But I get the concept. Best mentor I've ever had. Options changed my life. Listen. Okay, so let me get to it. Let me show you this. Now and this guy, we it's so funny to me. This guy has a black wife, black kids. He's sitting in the front. Here he is. This guy at the top. Okay. Real estate reacts to Compass 444 million acquisition of properties. Okay. So what people don't realize is Chicago-based at properties as well as Christie Real Estate. He's acquiring them. Now, why does this matter? Compass is mostly in New York City.
Okay.
And if I ever hear anybody talk about New York City, we're talking about Don Peoples. That's all people ever say. Well, Don Peoples. I'm like, there is a huge elephant in the room, and his name is this guy right here. I just don't want y'all to miss out on this man right here. I thought I had his name over here separated, but I didn't. Why is it that we can't get traction on a brother like this? Why can't we hear about this man?
A lot of it is socialization. And then a lot of it is just general programming. I just really think that there is something we've talked about. There's an effort to make sure that we're not in tune to these type of spaces, and to make sure that's also not the conversation that we're having, because I really do believe is that when we can get an understanding of these spaces, people have to deal with us differently. And so I just really think there's a concerted effort to really keep us in one space in America. And maybe a few individuals, but as far as a large group, it's really not an effort to do that. So people that are doing these type of things, they're just kind of brushed over as if they don't even exist.
I mean, this guy was sitting front row at the Democratic convention, and I was sitting there like, nobody gonna talk about this guy?
Yeah.
Nobody's bringing him up. Like, I've seen him in a few interviews. I was just kind of shocked. Like, is there a problem here? Like, we just not gonna bring it up. So, I just thought I want to bring that up as a comment, because I just think to be a big dog in New York City, that's huge. Like I don't know why we aren't bringing up this man and his black family, who's doing well. Okay, again, CEO. His name is Robert Refkin. I'm gonna pull it up for y'all real quick, and he's the founder of Compass. He's not just a person who helped make it. He's the founder. Let me do like this real quick.
Okay,
do like this. And he's 45 years old. I just think this guy's about to be a major player and no one's talking about him. Hold on, let me see. Close this one. Okay, let me see. Somebody put question mark black. Yes, that's what black people look like in Virginia, where I'm from, in North Carolina. That's what they look like. Look just like that. Okay, here he is. He be on CNBC all the time, sliding through there. He's the founder and CEO.
Okay.
He come in there talking about stuff. And I just be like, why is this person not more talked about? It just shocks me every day. Let me see if there's another one of them. Just because I want y'all to be able to see who I'm talking about here. Kind of put it on your horizon. Also, I was going to say from the angle, sometimes I feel like they let us in when stuff is going down. When the ship is, New York's getting rough, all of a sudden it's like, yeah,
you got to be the recovery guy.
Yeah, you want to buy it up.
On that. Yeah,
his whole thing is how setbacks create momentum. He's 45 years old, went to Columbia Business School. He has a book, No One Sees Alone. I just am shocked more people ain't heard about him. Again, from San Francisco High School. It's like, I don't know. It's like this guy's doing big things and no one's talking about it. Let me see if I can pull up an article. Let me see if y'all can see that. And I brought that up in relation to the stock market. Again, he's on TechCrunch. He's out there. I just don't know what it is. I feel like we only hear about 1% of the time. Like we've been hearing about Robert. Again, this is his, I'm just going to show y'all this for a second. Okay. His mother is, and I'm going to go there for a second, is an Israeli Jew. Daddy was black. She was disowned. Okay. And his wife is black. His kids is black. So I just want to, that's all. I just want to kind of put that out there. This guy has been like under the radar, and I don't understand why when you're doing huge numbers in New York.
Yeah, especially in a city like New York.
Huge numbers. You're buying up, acquiring things like what? Yeah,
says he probably needs if he wants the attention, he'll probably have to hire his own PR team. Mm-hmm. Because, if he's trying to support, I'm trying to turn it political, but if he's trying to support the Democratic Party, they're really not big on putting black men as a face of like business things that nature. They're going to push more the celebrity angle. That's kind of what they've shown they want to do over the past 10, 15, 20 years when it comes to black people in general, but most importantly, black men. They're really not going to push him as the guy. So I'm trying to figure out what he thinks he's going to get for his, maybe it's just real estate deals, but what type of advocacy he really thinks he's going to get for his campaign contributions.
Yeah. Because I'm like, if you lived in San Francisco, now you're in New York and you're one of the biggest black dudes in New York. It's like, I don't know what. But I'm gonna go to another one. I'm gonna slide out of that topic. I'm gonna keep it focused. Now, here is another one. And I want your thoughts on this because you watched what was it? Dumb Money? What was that movie called? I think it was called Dumb Money. Okay. So this is called the Degen DAO. Okay. And I think this is so interesting on many levels because by the time adults in society that are the rule makers figure something out, they already behind. So these are 30 of the most egregious. Now listen to the wording, egregious meme stocks. Mm-hmm. So they're showing you what was going on since 2021. And now this is them up in 2024. Yeah. And they're saying on average, a lot of these are up 40%, 60%. Now I'm going to read. Can you see the screen? Is it big enough?
Yes. Yeah. Put on full
screen. Okay. Cool. So I have it here and I'll read some of the tickers to you. Okay. But you have NVIDIA on there because these people, what they're saying is, let me read them to you first. Then we go. Okay. DraftKings is on here. Rivian is on here. Okay. Reddit, Rollobox, Planeteer, AMC, GMG, what do you call it? GameStop. Yeah. Donald Trump's DJT, that money flush. Okay. The coin for Coinbase, right? Hood for Robinhood. LCID is Lucid. Tesla's on here. What's the other one? SoFi's on here. SoundCloud's on here. Yeah. Hims, which is the hair growth vitamins, is on there. Okay. There's a few others on here. Reddit's on here. I forgot some of these other ones, but essentially, they kind of had said these are these stocks that young men are just, they're memes. Wall Street Bets talks about them. It's unfortunate. Why are they talking about these stocks? But these stocks are doing great. Yeah. Is it because it's hype? Is it because these young men don't know what they're doing? And they called it the Degen DAO as if kind of throwing off on them, saying they're doing degenerate gambling. But to me, to say, if you said GameStop was gambling, I go, okay. Yeah. But to say Robinhood, Reddit, to say, Tesla, NVIDIA was gambling, SoFi, to me, that seems like they're lumping them together because they can't understand why these people picked them and they didn't.
Yeah, I agree with you there. What I realize, because like you said, some of them, like we're talking about AMC, GameStop, really not seeing the business case for them there. But a lot of those, Nvidia's a legit company now. Like they're legit. They were legit before, but now they're really legit. Palantir, their business that they're going to do with business makes them legit. App Loving, Robinhood, SMCI, they've had some issues. Let's see if they get back. We just talked about Tesla, Mara, MSTR. We know what they're doing in the Bitcoin space. Geo, I'm long Geo with options because what I think Trump's going to do with immigration. DraftKings, they're a gambling stock. I don't see them going anywhere. Carvana's really ran up, but I wish I would have bought Carvana at $5 and I was like $250, $260. I'd have been a millionaire right now. Yeah, I think it was going out of business. I'd have been in like $10,000. I'd probably have $1 million. So these
you'd be like, "Where's Diamond Dave? Gone."
These are legit companies. I just think their run-up's been so strong over the past few years. What we saw really after 2022 was so much money was on the sideline. The money had to go somewhere. So people pulled a lot of their money out of the market late 2021, all through 2022 as the rates started to go up. Once that money comes out, everything depresses. They're going to put that money back into the market. They got to put that money somewhere. So we saw a lot of stocks that were really beaten down, just going to really strong run up. We saw Nvidia. I wish I would have known about that. 2023 start to take off. So we've seen a lot of tickers really take off because everything was beaten down in 2022. So that's why I tell people is that, again, the funds that raise money, that money has to go somewhere.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, they're going to put that money back into the equity market.
Well, I was reading this thing and the guy was saying, "Oh, we just got to get a lot of these people out of here, this retail out of here."
Yeah.
And he was saying how it's 20% of the I don't want to misquote it, but it was like 20% of the options trading. Like it was like same day trading.
Yeah.
And he couldn't believe it. And I said, could you speak to that? Because to me, you talk about it often about we could take $1 million out of this market and nobody would notice. But it's like people are starting to notice these smaller trades.
Yeah, I mean, 1 day trades, and I did a 1 day trade today. They have been around for a long time, but they're very attractive to people because the cost structure is really low.
Okay.
So they appeal to somebody that doesn't want to put a lot of money up front to get into particular plays. And you now can kind of tell, we often sometimes based on the ticker, but also based on the activity, because a lot of the larger funds don't go in and out on the same day.
Right.
So a lot of times it is going to be categorized as retail trading, but it's really attractive to people because it doesn't tie your capital up for a long period of time. It allows you a lot of fluidity in the market, and the cost structure is available to where you can buy one contract, but also with a few $1,000s, you can scale out multiple contracts because they expire in such a short amount of time. So that's why they become attractive. And I really think that's going to expand where you're going to get more and more same day trading on different type of equities because it's what the market really wants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same thing like with the 24-hour trading. I think that's, people think that's going to be something, but I don't know. I'm not certain on that.
Depends on how much volume we have. Like just really how much volume are we going to have at like 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night? Because most people are going to be asleep. So that's just the issue, but you'll have the option. I think some West Coast people will like the fact that they can trade after 1 o'clock their time. But again, late at night, how much volume are you going to have? Because all my Forex traders, all my crypto traders, like how much trading goes on in the wee hours of the morning for those markets that are pretty much open up on different time zones. But you can trade crypto 24/7, just got to find the market that's open.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so when you see a list like this, does this scare away professional traders? Should this scare away people who are following trends? What do you think when you see a list like this, when they call it the Degen Dow?
Yeah, I mean, because I really think a lot of those companies to me are not degenerate companies, especially not NVIDIA. Like NVIDIA right now is in a power position. I don't think professional traders definitely not going to be scared away because professional traders have to make money regardless of the market situation. But I do think it's a good thing that more retail people are involved in the markets because it's available to you. You now can get in. The technology's there for you to get in. It's a lot easier than what it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. And again, we talked about you can pull money out of this market. And even though it may raise people's antennas, it's not enough money to where the major funds and major organizations are going to try to stop you. Because what's money to us is not money to them. And a lot of them are taking a lot of times longer positions as opposed to more short-term positions. So they're really not going to be in our way anyway, unless they're trying to move the market in a certain direction. And that's why I encourage people to learn how to play the market up and down So regardless of what direction they go in, you can play it also.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I had a question, the guy that we said was a little weird.
Okay.
I meant to bring him up. I'm gonna share my screen to show you him.
Okay.
We said he got that little bit of, little bit of funky hair, little last time we talked about him, but y'all gonna know who I'm talking about. As soon as I said he live in Austin, he make us be looking weird out here. Oh man, here's Mr. Alex. Mr. Alex Karp.
Yeah.
He goes, America's in early stages of an AI revolution. He's like, the country is going to be changing, but let me just go ahead and play it.
Okay.
Country. The second tier of those companies are in this country. The JV of these companies are in this country. There is no other place to do technology really at scale besides America right now. And Europe is basically decided to regulate its basically anemic and non-existent tech scene out of production. All those people want to come to America. The American tech community is booming. America is in the very beginning of a revolution that we own, the AI revolution. And we own it. It should basically be called the US AI revolution. Every single relevant company in the world is in this country. The second tier of those companies are in this country. The JV of these companies are in this country. There is no other place to do technology really at scale besides America right now. And Europe is basically decided to regulate its basically anemic and non-existent tech scene out of production. All those people want to come to America. The American tech community is booming. America is in the very beginning of a revolution.
Now, what are your thoughts on what he said? Because, if I had him on board to speak at something in Europe, they hot. Yeah. they hot. But I keep telling people, y'all want to go overseas, and people are really trying to get here. But you should please share me your thoughts. I don't know if this is going to affect his stock. What do you think?
I agree with him 100%, especially in the space that he's in. I think so. This is my own personal opinion. Mm-hmm. I think what America is going to do in artificial intelligence and military is going to put them in a position to really dominate the planet for the next 100 years because of the head start that they're going to have. And we're seeing that a lot now. And I've been talking about it for years, Terminator drones, Terminator vehicles where they're not manned by people. Yeah. They're just going to be robots that are going to be programmed to kill folks. Mm-hmm. And America is sinking a lot of money. It is doing business with a lot of private businesses inside the United States that are using artificial intelligence to really just figure out how to kill people more efficiently with robots, right? Then also what they're doing is they're sinking a lot of institutional money into this AI space. What that's going to do with America is give America so much of a head start, mm-hmm. so it's going to be impossible for other countries to catch up. Because America was at a place to where we're no longer considered an emerging market. We were considered like a stable market.
Yeah.
Now with this AI space, this is a new space, so now we're emerging again. Mm-hmm. So what you're going to see is a lot of capital, but also a lot of human capital in the form of intelligence come to America to piggyback on the investment. We're seeing a lot of the AI companies now looking to secure energy. And so what they're going to do over the next 5 to 10 years is secure energy because they're going to need a lot of energy to power that. I'm going to talk a little bit later about another space they're calling quantum computing. They're starting to sink money into that. So we're getting a lot of capital sunk into this space because it's emerging. Most countries will not even be able to create the capital base to do it. I think it's going to be between maybe us and China. And what we're doing is we're creating a lot of legislation to where China can't get certain type of chips. So they also can't really fully participate in the AI space because America wants to lead the way in this space and then make all the capital come from the rest of the world into inside the United States. So I 100% agree with you.
Awesome. Because I saw this and I'm like, people keep trying to tell me how they're going to Europe to do something. And I'd be like, to do what? Yeah. To get a break, to maybe take 6 months off for sure. No problem. Yeah, take your time. Take your time off. I'm all good for that. So and I'm glad you said that because this is what I feel is the response to kind of stay relevant. Mm-hmm. Is the best way I can say it. Let me pull this up.
Okay.
Because I heard Ben Affleck talking about AI, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait, Ben Affleck, what he doing? But Ben Affleck spends lots of money. So I feel like this right here was, how do I get some tension? Okay. El Salvador president said, we have $3 trillion worth of unmined gold.
Okay.
Now, why would we bring that up? Why
I
would
guess
we, what is me telling you our country done found 3 trillion in unmined gold do?
Guess he's trying to get some investment, because they were really positioned really, really difficult in Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess now that he got 3 trillion in unmined gold, he wants to get some investment because, I think they did that big incarceration push to attract investment because the country has to look safe for business. So I think he's just trying to attract investment into El Salvador.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, sir, where you coming from with this? Why is this even on here?
Yeah, just trying to get probably trying to get some investment. I mean, I wonder, can that be verified that they actually have it? And then what is it going to cost to get it out? Because if he got 3 trillion, but it's going to cost us 5 trillion to get it out, it's not going to be worth it. But the question is, what will it cost to extract it? But I think he's really trying to attract foreign investment, which is why I think they had that big push to really get that criminals in El Salvador, which was a really, really big issue they have to try to control that, to get that investment. Because if they can't get foreign investment, there's not a lot they can do with their country.
Right. I mean, like, and kind of on this topic, I feel like Detroit, when we were there in Cleveland, there were Swedish companies invested. There were European companies just holding hundreds of houses. They weren't really improving the area. They just kind of were holding them, getting checks, and then letting them, liquidating them as they needed to. And I just thought, wait a minute.
Yeah.
A lot of these countries are investing in places, but they don't care about you. They don't care what it looks like when they leave.
No, they don't.
So that's something I just want to bring up, because I had showed a video talking about Europe is kind of sleepy, not necessarily dead, but just, would you rather be us or Europe? And people are like, oh, that's ridiculous. And I'm like, the tech people, the business people are telling you, like, the people who are investing money in the country are telling you what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
So let me pull the other one up. And thank you for your time tonight. I know it's,
I appreciate you having me on. And I like talking about this stuff, so I'm cool with it.
And I see y'all questions. I'm not ignoring y'all questions. We just, if you're enjoying the commentary, drop a 1 in the comments. When I see them on my mind, I try to get them fired off, and then we'll come back to y'all. I promise. Not gonna ignore y'all. Okay. So just in MicroStrategy to be included in the QQQ.
Yeah. Okay.
2.1 billion power investing company. Now, why is this important? How does this change this stock, this position, this company? How does this change this?
Yeah, so what we believe, and I heard about this a few days ago. So we're supposed to find out tomorrow whether or not it's going to actually go through. What it should do is make a lot of funds have to start accumulating them if they're mirroring the QQQ.
Okay.
Right. So if we believe that there's a lot of funds out there where they are essentially going to mirror the QQQ, once we add in MicroStrategy, now they probably have to buy MicroStrategy. So then we believe that as a result, it will drive up MicroStrategy's value because they're going to get more investment into the particular stock, which means what he'll probably use it as a way to raise another offer to not go buy more Bitcoin. And then it kind of creates a feedback mechanism, right? So we are looking for the determination tomorrow if they come in, because we believe if we get the yes on that, they'll have to be included by the 23rd of December. And we believe that fund managers that are mirroring the QQQ will have to buy MicroStrategy as part of them mirroring that particular index. So let's see if it goes in. We won't know until probably sometime, maybe might not even after close tomorrow, but we're looking for a big movement up in MicroStrategy based on that particular word coming out.
Okay. Yes, and so is no disrespect to him, I haven't heard of MicroStrategy like that. I just know of him buying Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Is he someone we need to be like, I need to learn more about this if I'm going to be in the tech space?
His business, his tech business is not something that people really even care about. The reason why people are big on the company is because essentially he's taking this massive position on Bitcoin, and then he's been consistent with that for years. And anytime he can raise more money, he just buys more Bitcoin. So their perspective is that he's so long on Bitcoin, and the value of the company is so attached to Bitcoin. As the value of Bitcoin keeps going up, the value of the company goes up. So let's say you and I run a business, Erica, and then we take all the profits of our business and we just go buy Bitcoin. And so essentially what our business now is just a Bitcoin holding company.
Yeah.
It's really not. So we just use the revenues of our business to go buy more Bitcoin, as opposed to, and then once we get a big enough position, now what we can do is we can raise money on the value of what we currently have to go buy more Bitcoin.
Okay.
And that's all he's done. Right.
Gotcha.
So essentially they're a holding company for Bitcoin, their actual business operations, nobody even really talks about them. They're a tech company, but nobody even can really tell you what they do.
Dang.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Go ahead and stop this one, and then I have some more I think might be interesting to you. If not, you can always let me know. Because everybody's going Bitcoin crazy, but I'm like, listen, people have shareholders they have to answer to. So this right here is to me a little bit of a flag. Microsoft shareholders voted against Bitcoin investment proposal.
Okay.
So Michael Sayer suggested that Microsoft diversify 1% of its portfolio into Bitcoin. However, they believe that was too volatile. What is that? Is this something we should pay attention to? Is this like your shareholders have that much power? Is this something Bill Gates should complain about? What do you think? Thoughts?
I just really think that it's how Microsoft shareholders, they perceive the value of Bitcoin, and also talked about the volatility. So we're saying taking 1% and maybe buying Bitcoin to get exposure to it. They didn't agree with it. And that's their right as owners of equity, owners of the company, because the money inside the company really is their money too, as equity owners, right? So they just weren't for it. I don't necessarily think it's a signal that Bitcoin is under threat. It's just this particular category of shareholders decided that's not the direction that they wanted to go into, and that's just the direction that they decided not to go into. They may not like it. It is very volatile. So you could buy Bitcoin today for 100,000, and next week it could be worth 95,000.
Yeah.
Right. It could go like that. But at the same time, it could be worth 115. But it is a very, very volatile asset class. So they may feel like, it'll make more sense for us to do something else that's not as volatile, and then we're not stressed out about where the capital got put.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I like it. All right, you guys, listen, I want, while he's here, I'm throwing them at him because I know there's a lot of great conversations. So this was what I was talking about, Ken Griffey. If you guys watch the movie Dumb Money, you might know who I'm talking about. If you don't know who I'm talking about, we can ask Diamond Dave who this guy is so you guys understand. But this is why I'm bringing this up again. Let me show you this one.
Every sense of the word disappearing. Their birth rates are a challenge. Their economy's not growing. Their per capita numbers are horrific. The sense of optimism in the future is not there. Do you want to be Europe? I don't want to be Europe. I want to be America. Go to Europe. It's lethargic compared to the United States. And it's a continent that's in every sense of the word disappearing. Their birth rates are a challenge. Their economy's not growing. Their per capita numbers are horrific. The sense of optimism in the future is not there. Do you want to be Europe? I don't want to be Europe. I want to be America. Go to Europe.
Okay. I love this because, I think people have this fantasy that all the wealthy white executives just spend all their time frolicking in Europe, and Europe's where you're trying to go. And I'm like, according to who?
Yeah.
Will this hurt Ken Griffey at all? Him saying something like this about Europe? And we just saw when it talked about the tech folks. They're like, Alex Karp's like, bump Europe. They're trying to get up out of there.
No, it's not going to hurt him at all. I mean, he knows where his bread is buttered at. He knows who he's trying to do business with. And he is correct. Their birth rate is really, really down. A lot of the countries that they have, they're not on the upswing. Some of them are, but a lot of them are not. A lot of them have bad economic and also bad social policy. And also we got to worry about wars, the threat of war or currently wars. So it's not a place to where you're getting a lot of investment to go into it. Some places are where you think you can come in from an emerging market standpoint, but Europe's no longer seen really as an emerging market. It hasn't been for a very long time. What Ken Griffey really doing is kind of waving the flag for the United States to where the capital should flow to. But America's always been a leader in foreign domestic investment, or FDI. Anyway, just because of how big our market are, how liquid our market is, and just really how good Americans are at doing business anyway.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the other one I had for you. Now, I'm probably going to save this for a bigger show. We can do it on another time, but just some quick thoughts while I have you on it. Yes, because I think this all piles into, when I pull all these different clips, you guys, my point is for you to kind of educate yourself so you feel comfortable looking at these different topics, because the more you read about the markets, the more knowledgeable you can kind of be on things. And why would someone do that, or why wouldn't they? And that's how I can able to like kind of throw these at him. And he's like, okay, anyways, keep moving. Right. Yeah. The more educated you are on these things, the better and easier it gets. So let me show you this one. This is billionaire former Bucks owner.
Yeah, I know who he is.
I can't tell you, but in essence, what we would do is buy 51% of the team. And, I mean, I think if you look at a bunch of these programs, they're making 50, 100 million off of their football program, off of their basketball program. So it's a way for universities, by the way, because under federal law, they've got to offer scholarships in all these different sports. So they've got to update their facilities. So one of the things they want to do is sort of say, okay, great. My football program makes 100 million. We'll sell 50%. That's 50 million. Do a 10 multiple on that, 15 multiple. That's 500, 750 million. That'll come for them to sort of fix different things at the university. So you're going to start seeing more of that. What the schools need is they need money for NIL, but you can't go out and raise money for NIL because that's not a deduction, right? So that if you're giving $1 million to Michigan and you can say, I wanted to go to the sports program, that's great. But if you say I wanted to go for NIL, then it's not a deduction. So that's the issue. I think it's a phenomenal opportunity. And I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a number of schools selling their teams. And the reason for that.
To whom?
To folks like us. Like we're bidding on a couple teams, I can't tell you, but
I just want to make sure y'all all understood that. If you need me to play it again, let me know. Because I don't think y'all understand how much money is made off the backs of young black boys playing football.
Yeah.
And I think we are so out of the loop. Now the person who made the graphic, they showed Texas. Texas will never do it because Texas doesn't have to. We're in the middle of a tech town. We're in the middle of there's over 5,000 capital companies here. Texas makes more than 100 million off the sports program. I can tell you that I'm a season ticket holder. Okay. Texas girls has done well in every sport and almost won every sport. Soccer, basketball, all of it. Give me your thoughts. And we could do another show on this, but just some brief thoughts on why billionaires or companies would even think about this.
Yeah, it makes sense. What they'll do is go in there, take a piece of the team, like you said, take a multiple of what that team is worth or what they're bringing in on a yearly basis, and then it'll give that school the liquidity to do the NIL. And it makes sense because they're going to need that liquidity to bring people in. I think if you just saw the guy that signed to go to BYU, he's considered the #1 player in the country. I wonder who's paying him that much money to go to BYU to play ball. Like that makes no sense. But I know it's got to be a big paycheck there.
Huge.
Unless he's a Mormon. I don't think he's a Mormon, but he could be, right? So I do think it's a way for them to kind of create some type of cash to come in to where now they can outlay that out to other situations because they do need the cash now because we're going into a pay-for-play system. So to create these type of partnerships, because what also those partnerships will do is once you get with guys like this, there's a network and an expertise that he's going to bring in that you may not have that he also can help you in other areas. So I think it's going to be a good look for everybody because of how much money is in big time college sports, but most importantly, football and basketball.
For sure.
Yeah.
Quickly, but I'm not gonna stay here too long. I just wanted to hear Diamond Dave's thoughts on this because I want to do a whole show on this because I have a list of schools I think could apply this to. Okay. I would say, I'm not worried about any school in Florida. I'm not worried about any school in Georgia right now. I'm not worried about most of Carolina because the same reason of Texas. There were a lot of tech companies.
Yeah.
The schools I would think of that were big dogs, but not big dogs right now is Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, tell me where you're pulling this money from in Mississippi.
Exactly. I feel you.
Hey, Mississippi, we're going to give you, $500 million. Great. Yeah. Keeps us in the running. Because, let me put it to you this way. SMU did a rally call and asked, we need to raise money. They raised $100 million in 7 days, y'all.
Yeah.
SMU is about to be in the playoff. I don't think y'all understand.
Yeah. I feel you. They might be back. SMU might be back.
Oh, SMU's back. I was on a plane, y'all. And I never ride Southwest. But all the flights were like, it was crazy. It was like $1,000. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I get on Southwest, y'all. And there was a connector plane. I had to go to Dallas. So of course they, take everybody to plane and you get on the next plane. And I promise you, 95% of the pain was SMU.
I feel you.
I saw these little old couple. I said, "Can I sit beside y'all, please? Thank you so much." Sat beside them.
Yeah.
The beginning of the plane ride. Let's put our pony ears up.
Yeah.
I promise you, 75% of the plane had pony ears up, singing SMU's flight song.
Yeah.
And they were heading to Charlotte, talking about how they really needed to put this game closer to Texas. And I'm like, Clemson's right down the street. Clemson's the big dog here.
Yeah.
But you have over 100 people on the plane.
Yeah.
And I know it wasn't the only plane, because when I got to the airport was flooded with SMU colors.
Yeah.
In Charlotte Airport. To have a school raise $100 million in a week, man, it's a different game now.
Yeah, you're right about that.
It's a different game. And so that's why I tell people, if you got a cousin and they want to have a podcast on sports, I suggest they go get an NIL certification.
Okay.
And I know one for free. Y'all can go get it for free right now. If you're in any of my groups, I'll post it again where y'all can go get, because I got mine. So I can understand the rules. Because I wanted to understand it just for family members and extended family members.
I feel you.
Because we used to be heavy in sports in this family. Now everybody's like, our knees, we saving our knees. We can't do this. Our knees and our backs can't take no more. I've been telling y'all, one time in my family, we had 8 boys all in college sports. And they were getting, 2 of them were getting offers to go play in Canada. And they were just like, Canada? And our family's like, go. He's like, man, I my knees can't do no more cold. I can't do.
I feel you.
So you guys got to understand the game of what's advantage here. Okay, and the reason I brought that up, you guys, because a lot of people are going to say, well, they're a billionaire. They could just invest in more stock. But how do you protect yourself? You got to have some diversification. Okay? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And they want those emerging markets too. Because that market is still at the beginning. It hasn't really shot up yet. It's going to shoot up too. It hasn't shot up yet. They trying to get on the ground floor.
Very much. Okay. So I'm going to answer some of y'all questions and I'm going to add a few more for him as far as questions, but I'm going to try my best to find some of this. Okay, y'all had a lot. Whew. Okay, let me go here.
Okay.
Xantos Clutch. I just got back from Germany, one of the better countries. Germany is actually, I think its GDP was like bigger than 11 European countries. It's crazy. Like them by themselves was a big dog. It says one of the better countries, and it's on a downward trajectory to say the least. Italy, Belgium, and others are far worse.
Yeah, I believe that.
Okay. Oh, y'all got a lot here. Let's do this. I didn't know how to word this question, but is crypto like stocks? In a sense of the market makers are there to facilitate transactions and provide liquidity.
So, Rob, it's a great question. It would depend on what exchange you're trading on and also what crypto you're trading, right? So some cryptos can have less liquidity than the others. Some cryptos are going to have a larger market cap than others because it's still pretty much an emerging market in that particular space. So what you can find in crypto, not as much now as maybe 6-7 years ago, but a lot of inefficiencies that are going to be very, very obvious. So I wouldn't say they're like stocks, but the way they trade can be very similar to a stock because if you can chart it, you can trade it. And if there's enough liquidity there, we can definitely trade it if we can chart it. So that's something I would look at with crypto because we know there's not necessarily a fundamental reason why that particular stock is moving. And there's not how would I call it? There's not something physical actually supporting it like a stock, like an actual business behind it, driving revenues, things of that nature. But with crypto, if we can chart it, we can trade it, especially if we have the volume.
Okay. Somebody was like, Plantier was never a meme stock. How you get caught up in this mess?
It's just the run up that it had. Yeah. I know somebody talked about got 1,000% on options. I think they bought $25 calls. Palantir is now $75, $90.
Good
yeah,
gracious.
Massive run up on that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, massive run up on Palantir.
Okay. Do you guys think Elon and other companies will cause an investment bubble?
All right.
Revenues are not matching the billions being spent. Tech investments are slowing down. Is AL peaking? You mean AI?
I think it's AI peaking.
Okay.
Yeah, AI peaking. Okay, so Simon, I'm not a real fan of the bubble talk. It can be a bubble, but what I believe personally is that there's going to be a long-term investment in this particular space. So even if we get some type of compression in the market, it'll settle out and they'll go back to investing. Similar to what we got in 2000. We saw early 2000, a lot of people run into the internet space. Most of those businesses weren't real businesses. We saw everybody get flushed out of the market, but Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, they all stood the test of time and they just kept building up, right? So I think the bubble talk gets a lot of attention because it creates a lot of people to create headlines. But I would not bet against large scale investment into artificial intelligence, quantum computing, technology. I wouldn't bet against that, right? So what we're seeing is a lot of outlays of investing. I think the space is going to have to find its place, but I wouldn't bet against technology moving forward, especially computing technology, but then also how they transfer this particular tech to definitely military, but also to agriculture. I wouldn't bet against it over the next decade.
Okay. Diamond Dave, one of the questions from our last show that I called the emails late, they were like, do you need to diversify your portfolio across sectors? I know I'm simplifying the question. Basically said, I know you talked about top 5, but does your top 5 need to be in different sectors? Essentially what they asked me in the question.
As a trader, it just depends on how you understand the market. So I wouldn't trade, me personally. I would make sure there's not a lot of bias in my trades to where I'm just so entrenched in the sector. If that sector goes under, all my trades are dead. Right. So like, with EV, I wouldn't try to make all my trades just be EVs going long, because if now something happens to this whole space, everything goes on to some type of legislation, things of that nature. Right. Or maybe ride share. If I'm just heavily invested in ride share, they create legislation against ride share, all my trades go under. So you don't necessarily have to make sure they're diversified. I would just make sure that I'm not so overexposed to a particular area, because I'm so deeply concentrated that if anything comes up against it, all my trades are flat because of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, them people at the same question, the top 2 question I got after our last show was, how do I identify stocks for investment? And I want to bust y'all up, but I'm going to go ahead and ask it again, because maybe they didn't catch all 3. All right. So how do they identify stocks for investment?
Oh, so first thing I would kind of understand, if we're looking at trading or investing, first thing is, one, what area are you really interested in and really want to learn the area? Okay. So if I'm going to go into a particular area, I have to have the ability to want to learn and study that particular area, right? Then if I'm looking at trading or investing, do I have the money to invest in the stock? So I don't know. I think Costco reported today, I think Costco is what, $1,000? I don't know. Costco's a really, really expensive stock. I don't know. I could be wrong. I may not have the money to buy that. So what I wouldn't want to do is start looking into an area where I don't have the money if I'm looking to buy individual stocks. And then is there any movement of volatility in that particular area that's going to move that stock to where it can appreciate from an option standpoint, it can move to where I can make money? Or is it a type of stock to where there's so little volume and so little volatility, it just trades sideways, right? Then also, but most importantly, really understanding what that stock is about in this business case, because I'm going to talk about later. I think people kind of get caught up in a narrative around the stock, but that may not necessarily be what's going on with that particular company. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. They gave me some more.
That's a great question, though.
I'm looking in here. Okay, someone had asked, I think they Googled this, but I'm not certain. They said the United States makes up more than 40% of the world's stock market. Should I still be looking in other countries or stay focused in America?
Okay, so that's a great question. Can you repeat that question one more time, please?
Okay, they said, I guess what they looked up, it says the United States makes up 40% of the world stock market.
Yes, ma'am.
So should they stay focused in America or look in other countries as well?
Okay, that's a great question. Okay, so I would encourage, if I was a beginner investor, I would stay focused on the U.S. market, because you're going to get the most liquidity. You got the companies got the longest track record. We have a way in which we regulate companies that they have to kind of really show proof that they're actually running a real company. Okay. I would stay there because it could allow me to learn without having to deal with a lot of, I would call mulligans or curveballs that could come in other markets. Okay. Then once I got experience in this particular market, I kind of got my feet wet. I kind of know what I'm doing. Then I could go to more emerging markets where there's going to be less transparency. There's going to be less regulation. And the markets can be very volatile because they're not very stable. I want a market that has some volatility to it, but I don't want a market where I got to worry about the rug getting pulled out from under me. Okay. Because they do a coup and then everything's just over with. Right. So I don't want that issue. One of the reasons why the American market is so attractive, because we're very stable. I talked to my cousin that was in the military. I said, I really respect the United States military, because no matter what has happened in this country, they didn't try to take over. Other parts of the world, when there's instability, the military just says, man, we'll just take over the country. So you can't really invest in those environments because it's too much instability, right? So if you're invested in Syria right now, you don't know what's going to happen with your investment.
Man, I know you hot to try.
Yeah, you can't even go over there to see what's going on because it's so unstable. So that's one of the reasons why I would encourage anybody just starting off, focus on America. It's solid in how to build a portfolio and invest in the States because it's going to be the easiest way to get a return on your capital.
Right.
Then once you get some experience, look at other places. A lot of people are attracted to the exotic or the different or the novel. Right. But the problem is that if I don't really understand what I'm doing, that just could be a trap for my money.
Okay. Yeah, because I think they were, they had a little question underneath about them being Nigerian and they family saying this. I'm like, first of all, you in America. If you've been in America, I don't care what your cousin in Nigeria said, okay? Another person, this was a good question, just because people don't know. They said, can someone please explain what's the difference between a bull market and a bear market? They keep seeing videos that say something is bullish or bearish.
Okay, great question.
And they're trying to understand what are we currently in, but can you explain what bull and bear?
Okay, great question. So a bull market, if I'm bullish on the stock, which means that I'm positive on, I believe the market's going to go up.
Okay.
A bear market is where I believe the market is going to go down. Okay. Now, people can attach percentages to that, yada, yada, yada. But if I'm bullish on something, I'm very optimistic about it. I believe it's going to go up. If I'm bearish on it, I'm pessimistic about it and negative about it. I believe it's going to go down. We've been in a bull market pretty much since 2022.
Good.
Over the past, let's say maybe since the pandemic, we've definitely been in a bull market. If you go on a longer time frame, since maybe after the Depression, 07, 08, probably after 2012, we've been in a long-term bull market.
Okay.
I believe we're going to stay in a bull market because I don't believe that this system in America can exist without easy monetary policy. And it's that easy monetary policy that brings the bull market. If it's cheap, if credit's cheap, capital's cheap, it's easy for people to loan, it's easy for people to grow. They can leverage their money. If they tighten that up, it takes all the liquidity out of the market. So nobody wants that. So I believe the only way we can function is with cheap credit, easy access to capital, which creates the bull market.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Another question. Okay. Another question was, why is Berkshire Hathaway so expensive in comparison to everything else in the stock market, basically?
I just think their track record of investing.
Okay.
So I just think because of their track record, how people perceive the value of the stock. I haven't looked at their returns, but I just think their track record and people's perception of the stock, that's what creates the value.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What was the other question? Somebody had a good one in here. Oh. Lord. Okay. Somebody said, why aren't we having a crash? And do you have to have a crash?
We aren't having a crash because we got more people willing to buy at a higher price than people looking to sell.
Okay.
Right. It's just a supply and demand issue. We don't have to have a crash. We can. But we just don't really have right now. There's no justification for a crash, in my opinion. People are still optimistic about the future. And unless there's some type of maybe algo credit crash, I just don't see one happening. But anything can happen at any time. Gotcha. You know, we have a guy in the White House where there's been assassination attempts on this guy.
For sure.
So we know anything can happen at any time. I do believe, though, if there's a crash, I do believe that it will be orchestrated. I don't think it'll be organic. But organic crashes, I just don't really see that happening to where everybody just gets so pessimistic about the future. They just look to sell everything. I don't think that's going to happen.
For sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Another person had, not going to say your name. I'm looking at it, but it says, I work at Amazon. I save my money. I only have 1,000 to get started. How can I manage risk? Basically not to blow up the account. That's the best way. I'm trying to justify for this sentence.
They looking to trade or just invest? They're
looking to trade. They said, I want to start trading.
Okay.
But how do I manage risk? And I guess not blow up their account.
Well, first you got to define what they call risk or what's risk to them. And they have to kind of learn what risk management is. And it's also going to be an emotional behavior aspect to it. Trading is very emotional. The actual techniques of it are very, very simple. But it can be very emotional because a lot of times traders are most vulnerable after they're successful. Right. So a lot of times as a trader, once you have your a good run of success is where you set yourself up to get knocked off. So you really have to define what's risk management to you. How much of your account do you want to outlay at any given time? And then can you create a structure around that, right? To where it can allow you a framework to operate in it. And then can you stick to the structure?
Mm-hmm.
So in our course, in the VIP program, we brought in people that have a background in counseling people, or really coaching people, background in coaching people, to help people get a better understanding of how to manage some of their emotions around trading. Because we found that teaching people the trading is very easy, but it's their behavioral patterns inside of trading really that they brought into the market that can be difficult. Many of us do things off impulse that can hurt you in the market, because sometimes you don't need to trade. You just need to sit down.
For sure. You just need to watch and observe.
Exactly.
One of y'all saw I made this post earlier, and it said, y'all trying to be funny. They said, why does it matter that Donald Trump went and rang the bell? I guess they saw my my little thumbnail earlier.
He was ringing the bell this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a good look for the market. And he's going to be he's the incoming president. It's going to give people confidence.
Okay.
And the market is 100% about confidence. If people are optimistic, they believe that the future is going to be greater than what we're currently dealing with. It makes them want to invest. It makes them want to spend money. So the goal of the president, outside of everything else, is to keep the ball rolling. It's not to come in and be a downer to everybody.
Right.
So Donald Trump understands that, because why? He's already been president before.
Mm-hmm.
And I really believe that he's going to attach a lot of his success to the market. And so he's already starting to try to do that by ringing the bell. He's also Time Man of the Year. This is to get the ball rolling. They're going to get this other guy out of there. They're going to bring him in, and we got to get back to making money.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the questions, and boy, y'all trying to do these multi-layer questions. I like y'all, but don't like you that much now. I'm gonna paraphrase, and I apologize. Out of Virginia, you know who you are probably. They said, how can Google, let me read that right. Let me read it again. How can Google and Tesla keep going higher if they're complaining that we have high inflation? Okay. Or people are struggling, or layoffs are high. I think they're saying layoffs and inflation's high and layoffs are high. How can the stock market, Google and Tesla and other parts of the stock market, keep going higher?
It's real simple. People willing to buy at a higher price.
Okay.
It's real simple. Stock market works on an auction-based system. So if the market is bidding, I don't know, $418 for Tesla, and somebody's willing to buy it at $419, the price is going to go up. Right? Okay. Whatever Google stock price is, I don't know, because I don't watch it like that. If somebody's willing to somebody's willing to buy it at a higher price than what the actual ask is, so they're willing to bid it up, it's going to go up. So as long as we can find buyers, or really find new money to come into the market and to buy it at a higher price, and people are willing to sell at that price, the market just keeps going up. It's just supply and demand. This idea that because we're in a recession, it automatically equals a stock going down. I'll ask people to expand themselves and really ask themselves, how does the market correlate to the overall economy? And then what would drive the price down? So if we see earnings start to go down, that's different. But just people talking about inflation and yada, 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 how is that impacting earnings? So if businesses are still driving revenue and people are optimistic about the business, and the business is still growing revenues and they're guiding for growth, people are going to continue to buy the stock at a higher and higher price because they believe in the story of that particular company. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Someone asked in here, they really won't have money till February to be comfortable trading.
Okay.
Will, after Donald Trump get in, will the stock market crash? Essentially is what they're asking. Or will they miss the Donald Trump hype, essentially? Like the election hype.
The election positivity.
Hype? Yeah.
Okay, so I would tell them that the stock market is going to be the stock market regardless of who's in office.
Okay.
So what I want to really encourage people to do is kind of get away from these narratives that the president is going to have something to do with the market. The market is really bigger than the president in real life.
Yeah.
So the market will always be valuable, because I want to explain something too, and I don't want to sidetrack it. If the market goes down, that could be the best time to buy, because why? It's going to go back up. So I wouldn't want people to get scared if the market goes down, because unless you're getting ready to retire over the next 2 to 5 years, it could be the best time to buy, because the market will go back up. Right? The market got slammed down during the pandemic. Then it went on one of the best, strongest runs in the history of the overall stock market. So what I want people to realize is I wouldn't get fixated on the market crashing because of Trump. The market crashes, it crashes. The question is, are we positioned to take advantage of what the situation is? Do we have the understanding and the know-how? And then do we have the network of people that can give us the right information so we don't go into like a fear or panic-based response? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, one of y'all, I know y'all know who you are. This one's funny because they know how I am about this.
Okay.
Erica doesn't like the real estate crash videos.
Okay.
What's Diamond Dave's take on the real estate crash videos?
I think they are good YouTube content creators. I don't think they're really based in market fundamentals. But we know that negative economic videos, they make a lot of money on YouTube. They just do. Sure. That's just the space that we're in. Negative economic content makes a lot of money on YouTube because I think there's a mindset of I'm not where I want to be economically, and I want to hear that other people are getting ready to suffer too. And I really think people buy into that, but they really don't match up to what I think the fundamentals of the market are, because to me, it's a supply and demand issue. And I'm just not understanding is that where the supply is going to come from to crash the market.
Bingo.
So unless because we saw they raised the rate, we didn't see unemployment explode. Unemployment was very, very low, some of the lowest in decades. So we didn't get the increase in inventory of housing because of foreclosures, things of that nature that we got during the 05 to 08 depression. So we never got the increase in inventory. Unless we get the increase in inventory, I'm not trying to figure out how we're going to get the supply that's going to be so much greater than demand. It's going to push prices down. So I just am not a fan because I don't really think they're based on market fundamentals, but anything can happen at any given time. But what I've told people before is this, and I'm going to keep saying this. If the economy goes down and crashes, what makes you think you're not going to get swept up in it? So then what position will you be in to buy a house anyway?
Come on.
So this is what I don't understand. Like if we have another 05 to 08 depression and you get swept up in it, how are you going to buy a home anyway?
Because I remember houses in Charlotte going for $25K.
I'm sorry?
I remember houses going in Charlotte for $25K and people were like, well, who got that? I was like, we can go find it.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I think a lot of people are they're so economically vulnerable. If there is a massive economic downturn, they're going to be so busy trying to figure out how they're going to pay their basic bills. They're not going to be in a position to buy a house because if they need to get financed and the banks aren't financing people because they're worried about people they won't be able to get any finances. I think if they get what they're actually asking for or what they're being entertained for, I don't think they're going to like it.
Yeah.
But I think it's entertaining for people that are upset that they can't buy a home because homes are now going for $500,000 to hear that, well, everything's overpriced, is getting ready to crash. And all you got to do is wait.
That's crazy.
And I just, and I was talking to somebody in my family who has a son like 18 years old. I said, he needs to start getting his mind around buying a home for $1 million. Because when he gets out of the military and he goes into the home market, a lot of these homes in these major markets, they're going to be pushing $1 million.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
In Austin, people like, oh, Austin's just crashing. And I took a ride before I left town in this neighborhood I had never been before. And this guy's one builder, he just tearing down big old homes on big vacant, big lots, acre lots, and building these $1.3 million houses. And so it's like after a while, the whole neighborhood will look like these modern houses this guy's built. Y'all, if y'all know how much they build them for, you tell, they lost 100,000. They still walked away with like 250, 350, 450. I think our people really have to get on the Hispanic train of like construction somewhere in there, our surplus people, because not everybody's going to do tech, not everybody's going to do, but we got some surplus young men that need something to do where they fix stuff with their hands.
Definitely. Yeah. When it comes to the home space, unless I had a large amount of cash, or I had a network, we had a large amount of cash, or I had access to lines of credit, I wouldn't look for a crash anyway, because I wouldn't be able to take advantage of it.
Bingo. So
I just don't understand this appeal to where I want the market to crash. I don't get it. But everybody like different stuff.
they get excited about it. Dr. Chassie asked, what direction do you think the market will go in after the inauguration?
I really still think the market is going to expand and go up. Dr. Chassie, I think people are going to wait to kind of see where they're going with these tariffs. I think that could kind of move the market. But I think market sentiment right now is bullish. I don't think the market is negative. We got to kind of see how first quarter earnings come in. How does Christmas do for a lot of people? I think if first quarter earnings are good, I think we just go back into another bullish run. I don't see any reason to be negative about the overall market and the economy. Inflation is not low as it was pre-pandemic, but they've been able to get a good rate. But especially Dr. Chaz, if they lower that rate next week, I think we go on another run to close the year out.
Man, that's crazy.
But let's see how it plays out.
Just every day when I get on there and stock and Tesla going up $11, people like, Erica's just $11. I'm like, but you don't understand if somebody had, I'll try to keep explaining to them in the way that makes sense. Like, but people be thinking, well, you got to have $40,000 to make movement or that. I'm like, you don't have to have $40,000. Journey to Jasmine said, what's the difference between just buying stocks and trading?
So it depends on what you're buying stocks for, because you could be buying stocks and trading. So if you're looking to build like a long-term portfolio, you will be buying long and just holding for a time horizon that could be 5 years, 20 years, 65 years. So most people that's in 401k, their time horizon is when they retire at 65, right? Trading to me is I have a shorter time frame than 65 years because I could be doing a 5-year trade, right? But I'm not necessarily looking to hold this stock the rest of my life. Yeah. So that's kind of how I would look at buying stocks and trading. I would say I'm looking to buy stocks because I have a long-term framework that's going to be 65 years old. To me, anything shorter than that is a trade. It can be a trade for 15 years. So I may say, hey, I want to buy Palantir now and look to exit in 2035. Now, I may not want to do that, but I may want to do that based on my portfolio setup. But that's a great question, Ms. Jasmine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a recommended brokerage for use for trading?
I don't have any recommendations. I think it kind of depends on you and kind of how you're set up. Some brokers work better than others based on you, whether you're going to use a mobile app, whether you're going to use a laptop or a desktop, whether you want a large amount of customer service. I don't think Robinhood gives a lot of customer service, but they're very good on the mobile space. Other platforms give really good customer service, but their mobile app is really, really terrible.
Okay.
So it kind of depends on what you want to do. What I do like a lot of the brokerages is that they're really easy to set up and get started. And then you can kind of find out what works best for you.
Let me read that again. Drip dip coding. Do you believe it's a good strategy to play both sides, calls and puts on a ticker to capitalize on pullback on a bull run?
Depends on the situation. So if we're going to capitalize on a pullback, you're going to play puts. Are the puts profitable or are we just playing puts? And then we go into a bull run. So it's going to be a lot of factors in that. It's going to be time horizon. It's going to be cost of it. It's going to be strike prices. All those things are going to play into it. So what I really would tell you to do is going to be a case-by-case scenario. But I would encourage people not to overtrade. Sometimes the simplest trade is sometimes the better trade, as opposed to making the trade really, really complicated, trying to get all the money out of the market. Sometimes the simplest trade is sometimes the best trade.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Pascal said, do you think people should trade options and buy and hold stocks for long-term too?
Yeah, definitely. Because you can trade options long-term. I got options that don't expire until 2026. Right.
You doing the Nancy Pelosi. Okay.
Yeah. So you can trade options long term. You can buy stocks long term. Like the options market normally gives you a 2-year window as far out as you can go normally from where we're currently at. So right now in 2024, we got 2026 options. And then we also can buy and hold long term. So once we understand how the market actually moves, there's a lot of different things that we can do, because we can trade options as a way of doing stock replacement, especially for long term. We can trade options just to generate income. We can buy stocks for a different reason. Once we understand how this market works and what we have available to us, there's a lot of different things we can do.
What's the benefit of buying something out 2 years? Is it cheaper? Is it cheaper to buy? Is there a reason?
Okay, so it kind of depends on where I buy, right? So I'm buying out 2 years on Avis because I believe it's going to take about a year for the price to move in the direction I think it's going to move.
Okay.
So I wanted to buy enough time for that move to happen. But I could say, hey, I want to buy Palantir, which I know a guy made a lot of money off of it, because I believe over the next 2 years, they're going to generate so much revenues. They're going to grow so much. I want to just sit in my position and take advantage of that move up.
Okay.
Or I could be doing what we call stock replacement, to where I want to buy now, control 100 shares for each options contract, and then execute at that price 2 years from now, and get it at a really, really inexpensive price compared to what the price is going to be 2 years in the future based on my modeling and my projections.
Okay.
So that's why I would buy more time. So I'm a big fan, and I've gotten really good at leap contracts.
Okay.
But everybody kind of has to trade kind of what works on their budget, because the more time you buy, the more expensive they are. But I have more security in the play. I have the time to let the play develop, as opposed to be worrying about I need the play to happen over the next 90 days.
Got you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if you what is a leap, just for people?
A leap is what I would call a long-term contract. I say,
Okay.
I define leaps as being over 6 months.
Okay.
So 6 months, and then normally most options trades are going to give you out to 2 years from the current date.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
So I just always, I like you explaining your thought process, because sometimes I think people think daily, monthly, weekly, which there is a place for it. But if you actually, when you start talking to some people who really do this, like I know somebody who's a lawyer and they're busy most of the day, they have stuff that's out for months.
Exactly.
They're like, oh, no, I can't do that because I don't have time.
Exactly.
I can't be looking at it all the time. I work, and, they're doing these briefings or whatever that stuff is called. So, I just want you to understand, like, it doesn't have to be, because one of the questions was kind of like, I don't have time to look at it every day. And I kind of was like, okay, first of all, it's more of a statement than a comment, but
you don't have to. I mean, I have Amazon calls going out to 26, I think June of 2026. I think they're up now 25%. So a person that doesn't really have time can we know Amazon, unless something catastrophic happens, is just going to continue to get bigger as a company.
So even if Jeff goes, I don't think nothing's going to happen.
I feel you. So I just think the options market creates a really good way to generate income in a semi-passive way, especially if we're buying the blue chip companies, because the way they're positioned, the way they're set up, they're just going to continue to get bigger. I think Amazon, Microsoft, Google, maybe Apple, but especially the first three, I think in the Trump administration, where they're going to be a lot more deregulation based on what we've been told, I think they're just going to get bigger and stronger. I think after 4 years of Trump, I think Amazon's going to be so big, nobody ever be able to stop them.
Man, Amazon just bought something. Let me see. Hold on. I don't
know if FedEx makes the next 4 years.
No. Okay. Saks Fifth Avenue and Amazon set to acquire Neiman Marcus for $2.6 billion.
So they're going to buy Neiman's. Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring that up because I'm just like, they throwing billions around. Yeah. Y'all go ahead and let that go. We'll take it. It's crazy.
I feel you.
Okay. L Live Life said, do you think Trump gets in, quantitative easing will come back?
It depends. So I think we want to separate from stock market, monetary policy from president. President has anything to do with those situations.
Right.
So I think the media has kind of programmed us that the president is either the cause or the blame for these situations. President has no impact on monetary policy. So if there's something going on in the economy and it justifies monetary policy, that doesn't really have anything to do with the president. It could, but it doesn't necessarily mean it does. So we'll see if quantitative easing comes back because monetary conditions or economic conditions demand it, but it don't have anything to do with Trump. Because that's like me saying, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Love Life, but that's like me saying if, I don't know if the Ravens win the Super Bowl, does quantitative easing come back? They're not really correlated that way.
Right.
They're just really two separate situations that can happen based on what's going on in the economy. That's a great question, though.
You got 10 more minutes? 10,
yeah, I got plenty of time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to be respectful. It's the holidays.
Yeah, definitely. I got plenty of time. I ain't going out of town the next week.
He said, I'm out of here next week. Okay.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
Question. I'm going to let this slide, Ant Dog. You're going all over the place, but I'm going to let you slide. Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady have ownership stake in Buffalo Bills now.
Okay, big up for them. Big up to them.
I feel like Buffalo Bills, like, we need something.
Okay.
Need some positive news.
Yeah, big up to them.
Okay. Now, Kevin Monroe, what you got going on here? What should I do to turn 100,000 into 1 million within the next 6 months?
I don't know. I don't know. I would tell you just to buy the overall market and just hope it blows up. Buy the overall market. I wouldn't do anything sophisticated. Erica may know something on the real estate side. I would just say to buy the overall market.
Sir, it requires loans. Are you about to build some stuff and sell 3 homes? It's going to require some loans. I'm going to leave it alone.
Because if you get the million, how much going to be profit?
And again, I have a whole video, and I'm nervous even titling. I made a video, I recorded it.
Okay.
Million in a year.
Yeah.
And it's really a numbers game, but people don't want to hear that. So
yeah, he trying to do it in 6 months though. He don't even want to wait to you.
Yeah, that's sir. Is there somebody kidnapped? We need to know you need help.
I feel you.
Hit the button.
I don't know, maybe the next meme coin for 100,000.
Hey, okay. Dave, Behind the Lens TV. Question, Dave, I'm looking to buy into REITs. Any educational suggestions in order to be more informed investor? Thanks for always adding value.
Yeah, I would look into those REITs and understand what they're holding. Who's the management team on those REITs? And then if those REITs are publicly traded, do they do earnings calls? Can you listen to them? Yada, yada, yada. But ask yourself, what are their holdings? And then just ask yourself on those REITs, like, what are their business statements over the past 5 to 10 years? Like, I would really dig deep into their financials and understand what their financials are and really get a really good understanding of that before I start buying into it. That's how you become an informed investor if they're publicly traded companies. So I don't know if you're buying in publicly owned REITs or private REITs, but I would really try to get a good grasp of their financials.
For sure.
Yeah, that's a great question, though.
Okay. What's the best way to go full-time remote?
I'm not sure. I'm not full-time remote.
Don't know.
So I'm not sure, bro.
With UNC hiring Belichick, I know there's an area that's definitely about to rise in prices similar to Dion effect. So UNC, so Ant Dog, you're not from Carolina, and that's okay, but I'm about to explain it to you. UNC is one of the most expensive areas in the state. It's been that way for over 30 years. Durham, North Carolina, they made sure to get y'all all the way up out of there. They made sure to get as many black people out of there as possible. They've gentrified that spot. Used to be a Black Wall Street over there in Durham. Okay. Chapel Hill, Cary, North Carolina, it's expensive as like I went looking online the other day. It was $600,000 houses. If you told me there was a townhouse in Cary, my mom wanted me to buy because all my friends were leaving East Carolina, going over to Raleigh and buying townhouses. Mm-hmm. Townhouses in Cary, North Carolina, if you guys understand what I'm talking about, were $55,000 new construction. You just had to show you had to put $3,000 down and show you had a letter of a job offer of a company in Raleigh.
Okay.
Full-time work. I had a full-time offer letter. I was going to Raleigh. My mom was trying her best to convince me, please let me just give you this money and you can buy this. I said, well, I'm gonna have to have roommates. I don't want to do all that. That's too much. Yeah. So I get this little 2-bedroom apartment for $550 and enjoy my life. Yeah. Them same townhouses are $450,000 and they old now, baby. That was a minute ago when I graduated. Okay. Yeah. So, and that's supposed to be cheap. Okay. Yeah. Brand new townhouses in that area. Cary is crazy. Cary had executives moving there 1999, 2000s from American Airlines, all these planes. Like, house has been $1 million over there. So when people say, well, since he's going to come, it's going to be more. No, like, we're surrounded by research companies. We're surrounded by new construction. It ain't got nothing to do with Belichick. It's just going to be some more money wanting to pay to see him up close and personal. And this one guy made a very funny thing. He said, think about all the places Belichick went to go visit. And you think Belichick's coming to visit your college because it's so great. He up there doing research. Yeah. He done seen your facilities. He done seen your players. He already up on y'all. He's like, okay, well, I just got to beat this school and do this. Come on now. To build $1 million homes could cost $200,000 or less, depending on materials. Exactly. Every day, play paper. Every day. I'm telling you, there's a guy came out of prison 5 years ago, Diamond Dave. I definitely want you to meet him because I think I like his mindset at times. Okay. White dude came out of prison. He literally got to work. He did wholesaling because somebody told him how to do wholesaling. He got the house and they were like, I can't sell it to nobody. And they're like, well, just tear it down, build something new. He couldn't even get a loan from the bank. He had to partner with somebody because the bank's like, you're a felon. Yeah. He's like, yeah, but I own this land. They're like, I don't care. We don't loan to felons. Simple as that. And so, we got to get on the right side of sometimes own it. We own the land, but we don't know to build on it. So
I feel you.
Okay. Understanding how to trade calls and puts is instrumental.
Most definitely. Big up to Dr. Chaz.
Somebody said you be on fire.
Appreciate it,
Diamond
bro.
Dave.
Tom, stop on me.
Keep in mind, Tesla has split at least twice since 2014. For those of us that held it for more than 10 years, we are more than satisfied with his performance.
I believe it.
Okay, Brandy.
Yeah. So Miss Brandy bought early. She was early on the boat. Yeah, she's sitting good right now.
Miss Brandy, split some more. Go ahead.
Yeah,
split some more.
Yeah, she's sitting real good. I remember Tesla was $60. Yeah.
You should have got it. I feel you. It says, what are your thoughts on CVS?
Don't really have a lot of thoughts on CVS. I don't really study that CVS WBA space. More into the larger retailers and then like the discount retailers. So like that kind of discount pharmacy style retailer. really don't know a lot about that space and don't know why those companies are doing so bad. Because I really don't go inside. I think CVS to me is expensive, so I don't really go in there. And I'm not, fortunately, I don't take a lot of medication, so I don't have to be in there either. So just don't really have a lot of exposure to that particular space. But that's a great question.
I love Walgreens, y'all.
Okay.
Like, I know it sounds crazy, but when there was times when I was like busy, I worked at department management, and then I would work afterward delivering pizzas at night. Where was somebody open 11 to 12 o'clock that I could run in and get stuff I needed for my house? Or if I didn't want to go to HEB, I just want to go grab one thing off the shelf. I don't want to go all up at HEB and it's like a giant Walmart. Boom. Like, I'm done. I'm out. I love Walgreens for that, but I just know that it's crazy. Listen, I'm telling you, ain't nothing cheap in Cary.
I feel you.
Please. Cheap where it's called the containment area for relocated Yankees. We made a name for the city. Okay. You got the private schools over there, ain't cheap. Nothing's cheap. Look at that. Cut 147 straight through Durham. They did. That's how they did. They split Durham right in half. Killed all the black businesses in that one area off that highway. I wish I'd have known undergrad what I know now. Oh, for sure. NC Central, same thing with them. They've been begging y'all to donate money to them for a minute too.
Yeah. All the HBCUs got the same issue.
Well, and the crazy part is that NCCU had to kind of beg A&T, help us out over here. So they started kind of helping with their engineers. But it's interesting because they're right there beside Research Triangle Job. Dr. Chat said Kevin need to start a business. Kevin need that meal today.
Sitting up.
Okay. Said I'm still in Cary. I'm trying to get away from here. Good luck. Okay. If y'all have any more questions, drop them in. Diamond Dave, tell us more, if possible, about your stock trading class. How can they be involved? How can they connect with you? You know, what is it? What do you do in the class? How do you help them?
Great question. So what we do is we kind of teach people. I wouldn't say we kind of teach people. We teach people how to use the options market to kind of get the life that they desire. So one of the biggest issues a lot of people have is they don't make enough money. They don't like the amount of time that they got to spend away from their family to make the money that they make. And also they don't kind of understand how to deal with inflation. What we're really trying to help people do is get rid of a lot of their income insecurity by teaching them how to make money by leveraging the options market. And we like that because it's an easy market for people to get in. We're not promising it's going to make you a millionaire next year. We're not promising it's going to make you six figures in 3 months. But we've shown that if you stay consistent with it, you learn the market, you can put yourself in a position to make money out of that particular market. And we've been very consistent in teaching people how to do that. And it's something I'm very, very passionate about. Because what I do like about options trading is that it's a tool that you have in your tool belt that you can leverage when you decide to leverage it. So if you can just figure out how to generate 2025 a year, every year, that's 2025 that you don't have to worry about. And then you're going to have years where you're going to make more and more than that because of the way the market is moving. But I'm very passionate about getting our people in these markets because it's the job of Trump, whoever's president, to grow this economy. So as his economy grows, because he's doing his job, the markets expands, it brings in more money, and then it puts you in a position to make more money. And the risk is not necessarily what you think it is once you understand how to operate in the space.
I was going to show you this person.
Go ahead, take your time.
So y'all understand what these people think is about to happen. Because a lot of y'all like, it's going to crash, Diamond Dave.
I mean, if it crashes, I'm going to make money on both sides. Because I played the pandemic crash.
It's going to be crazy. Now look at these. Look at the
market.
marketing.
A lot of money off cruise line stocks.
Oh yeah, airline. Everything went down. Now look at this. These people. You can't tell me these people don't think he about to make money.
Yeah.
Okay, because they've already United States ambassador to France was pardoned by Trump in 2020. Okay, Howard Lutnick. Okay, trade and tariff. I actually like Howard. He's actually seems very educated when you hear him talk. Like listen for a good while. Steve Widoff. I don't even know if I said it right. Special envoy to the Middle East. All right. He's known for New York and Miami projects. He's brokered peace between Trump and DeSantis. Strong supporter of Israel. Scott Turner, Secretary of Department of Urban Housing and Development.
Okay.
Former NFL player. Texas representative. Known for leading Trump's Opportunity Zone Council. He's expected to revitalize the program and spur community investments. What does that tell you about them community zones? Maybe they coming through the gentrify.
Yeah, they get ready to blow them things up.
Man, they about to come through hard. There has to be a place for people to make money.
Yeah.
There has to be a way in our country for people to make money and for rich people to invest. Why do rich people want to invest?
They're trying to get returns on their capital.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm telling y'all, and I can say this about Florida, I can say this about Tennessee, I can say about North Carolina, I can say about Texas. When I'm doing those land Wednesdays I'm telling y'all about, I've already read the economic development plans of multiple cities around me in Austin. I could literally go up the street to Taylor 30 minutes and just keep building and keep building. Because literally they told you, hey, we bringing 10,000 Koreans here.
Yeah.
And so the city's just like literally stamping paperwork. Like, yeah, y'all want to build whatever you want. Build whatever you want. I don't think y'all understand what's about to happen. They have plans for these cities. You either going to be with the plan or you're going to be living out the country.
I feel you.
I meet black people all the time that's from the hoods of Austin, quotation marks, because they ain't really no hoods. And they live up in Hutto. Hutto is 45 minutes away from downtown. Do you think they ever in their life thought they was going to live in Hutto? No. They thought Hutto's where the rednecks live. Now they out there. Consistency is key. Historically liberal art school, but clear that they ain't paying, so they invested in STEM. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People keep acting like, oh, Eagles don't beg AT&T for nothing. This ain't no rivalry stuff. This is just common sense. Like historically black college was liberal arts. It was like a buck face 180 degrees. Okay. Yeah. Diamond Dave said, can you do it part-time?
Definitely could do it part-time. I mean, it's called the highest paid part-time job in the world initially. The goal is for you to do it part-time. The goal is not to make yourself a slave to the market. So what you can initially have is what we call a ramp-up period where you have to dedicate a certain amount of time to really understanding the space, but you can do it part-time. You can buy longer-term data contracts on blue chip companies and just ride those, right? It's possible. You can buy longer-term contracts on the overall market and just ride it. But the goal is to really get you to understand how these markets function. So when somebody comes at you with something, you understand how to take advantage of the situation. I knew about it. Trump coming in. If you get a chance to look at Discover, once he got elected, that next day, Discover gapped up because they're getting ready to do a merger with Capital One, and people think all the mergers are going to go through, or all the acquisitions are going to go through because Trump's not going to really trip on anybody doing those type of things. Right. So the goal is to really get you to understand how to take advantage of the opportunity in the market. You don't have to trade day in and day out. You can. People have bought the course and learned how to do that, but you also can trade on a longer time frame. It just depends on you, how your life is set up, what your risk tolerance is, and how you want to trade.
Right. And the last question, just to complete out your sentence, can you start stock trading options with $500, Diamond Dave?
Yeah, definitely. So example, I did a trade today on Play, which is Dave & Buster's. I bought 2 contracts for $60. I doubled that contract over the course of a day. Boom. So what I'm trying to get, now I could have put way more in than I probably should have, but I just want to just put something out there because I want to see if that move would continue to go. But once you understand how this market works, there's a lot of opportunity in this market. We just have to understand it and put ourselves in a position where it makes sense to us, not just based on a lot of this inflammatory content that they're putting out on YouTube. I think it's just kind of be fear-based, and it kind of makes people freeze and not do anything. And I get that because I used to be part of those crowd of people. Right. But once I really started to understand the market, I just look for opportunity now. Right? The rest of the stuff really don't move me because I missed out by not doing stuff. Now I just look for where the opportunity is. And that's kind of what I'm looking at.
I had a friend who kept saying he was listening to Glenn Beck back in the day. Everything's going to crash. It's going to crash. Yeah. He's like, the amount of money I missed out on expecting some crash that never happened. And tell me, to this day, he mad about some Glenn Beck. Okay. Like, but I mean, like, I used to tell people, I'm like, it's even if there is a crash 10 years from now. And I really distastefully like when people say, oh, well, it's taxes and this and that. Like, what are you doing for the 10 years until that happens?
Exactly.
When people are like, well, you never really own your house, you're always paying property taxes. Tell that to the 70-year-old woman who's paying $3,000 a month rent in New York.
Exactly.
Who could have had a paid off house and just paid property taxes instead, where property tax might have been $500 every month.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this country really has, in my opinion, the next 4 years are going to be so hyper. Do you own stuff or do you not?
Yeah.
When Mitt Romney said 47% of this country don't, really ain't doing what they doing, they ain't paying no taxes. So what? They get the check back.
Yeah.
Who cares what they think? Basically, in a nice way, he was right. We have a percentage of our society. You don't own any land. You don't own any stocks. You don't own any house. Like, this is an ownership country.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah,
You
people
know,
come over here from other parts of the world. You talked about it to own stuff because we allow people to do that in America. Yeah, I agree with you there.
And then somebody said, I signed up for the class 1127. I've listened to the entire class, and now I'm starting the class again, concentrating on the option terms.
Most definitely. Get those terms, get that jargon down, and it become relatively easy to you. So when people start talking about certain stuff, it'll pop out to what they're saying. So I want to encourage you just to keep going. If you stay consistent with it, I'm confident that pretty much 95% of the population can understand this space, because again, the technical parts of options is not difficult. What people run into challenges is just their behavior management. So that becomes a challenge, and we really got to kind of understand our behavior in these markets and our impulses and not let those get the best of us. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for telling us what a Santa Claus rally is.
Yeah, Santa Claus rally. So we're going to look out for that, especially like I said, if they cut that rate next week, I really anticipate that'll be the start of it.
Yeah.
And it will probably roll to the end of the month, and then we can see how much continuation we get after January. Right? Because we may run until inauguration and kind of before it kind of settles out. I think the inauguration is, the 20th.
Yeah, the 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be
I kind of want to go there and be a fly on the wall, but I want to be safe.
Interesting.
So I might stay right in Texas.
I love it because I'm a trade of volatility, but I just really think personally, his desire is to do so well.
Yeah.
I think people need to try to get on that train and try to figure out what part of the train they can ride.
Yeah.
Because I really believe that his desire, because he's done it before, he knows now how they're gonna come at him.
Oh yeah.
His problem the first time was I don't think he really realized how nasty the game gonna get for him. I think he realizes that now. This is how they're gonna come at me. But I think he has a deep desire to leave this situation on a high note. I would encourage people, don't get caught up in these rabbit holes of just being negative about the situation, because it's gonna be 4 years regardless of how you feel about it. Try to figure out how you can benefit, get on this bandwagon and get some type of benefit from it, instead of just, be in the rabbit hole of everything's getting ready to crash.
Listen, a side question. Why you didn't tell me who Billy Carson was, man?
Oh yeah.
I was like, is this a black people thing? Nobody told me. I feel you. I didn't know I was supposed to know who this man was.
Yeah. He's like the black version of David Icke.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a space for a black person in that space. So I've known about who he was for years. His content really doesn't do anything for me, but big up to him. There's a space for that type of content
for sure
amongst black people. And I never would have known that until he did it.
Man, I'm sitting here like, y'all keep bringing this name up. I don't know nothing.
Yeah. Because he got on Rogan, so he got to be big to get on Rogan. Yeah.
I was at rallies and AI took my order. The cashier said it made things easier. I went to Bojangles down the street from Charlotte Airport.
Okay.
And it was AI talking at the what do you call it? Where you take your order? The drive-thru. No, when you go through the drive-thru window and there's a box talking to you.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. At the drive-thru.
Right. Yeah, drive-thru window box. And I said, I'd like strips. Can I tell? And I'm just talking about what sauces and everything. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I said, how y'all let them get y'all out to just even the talking part?
Yeah.
This is crazy. So then I get to the window. Guess what? They was out of all that. But the young teenagers inside the Bojangles somehow couldn't tell the AI that we're out of chicken right now. We got to cook chicken for 45 minutes. I said, see, that right there made me mad. You lucky I'm in this drive-thru and I'll take them strips.
Yeah,
I'm going about my business.
Yeah. I was at Nando's in Atlanta, and you just order through the app, and it goes through their system, and they just pick the food up and bring it to you. There's no waiter or waitress there anymore. Yeah, so that's a lot of stuff is being automated. That human experience is being automated right out.
I'm telling you.
That's what I tell you, man. You got to get these skills. That stuff Dr. Dix is talking about, because they're going to leave unskilled people to just doing really menial labor jobs. That's not going to pay you any money.
You'll be living in the Badlands.
Exactly.
And people like, Erica, what's the Badlands? The reason I'm so big on, I want y'all to learn what Diamond Davis talking about from the stock market perspective in a small dollar entry level, because a lot of things require a high dollar entry level. And so if you have opportunity to learn at a lower entry level, great. Get your foot in the door. Because when I talk about the Badlands are, I live in Austin.
Okay.
They got rid of so many sections, like, I guess we call them projects to be nice.
Yeah.
Projects. and they picked them people up and moved them 30 minutes outside of town.
I feel you.
Right at the line of what still was considered Austin.
Yeah.
They had to make a bus route to get them people back into the city.
Yeah.
And it's like they went. And if you ever talk to them, you're like, why are you living out here in Maynard? Oh, you know, it's like they couldn't even explain. They just had to be moved.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's nothing wrong with Maynard. Maynard has improved, but you talk to some of these parents, oh, they have the worst schools. They have the worst this.
Yeah.
I already know the lingo of the talk, but same things happen in Baltimore. They moved them people all the way out to the edge of the county line for Baltimore. And so now all the Section 8, all the project stuff is at the edge of the county line. How are you going to get back into the Baltimore City?
Exactly.
What bus is coming out there? It's not.
Yep. Economic
Eventually, it's going to be very much, you're going to be where you live over there.
Yeah.
Right. I always stay in the financial district when I go to New York, but we had to go to Bronx for this party. They were like, what you going over there for?
Yeah.
Like the Bronx was the Badlands or something. I'm like, well, it's all New York to me. Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, so I went to go get something out the car. They're like, please, no, stay in the bar, stay in circles, stay in groups. So to me, when I talk about Badlands, I talk about bumper car people. It's when you have kids turning 18 and their parents don't got no plan for them.
Yep.
Talking about go get a job. Go get a job where? With who? Right? We are in a negative. We don't have like these surplus jobs everywhere.
Yeah.
Like when people come to Texas, they're like, damn, Texas ain't even in recession. They moving.
Yeah.
They building, they making money. Like when I meet people struggling in Texas, I'm like, baby, I don't know what you're gonna do. You got to get a car, you got to get something moving, some motion.
Yeah, you're right.
Somebody said they did that in the DC. Yeah,
they did that. They did that in Atlanta. They did that in Atlanta. They moved all the people in the projects out to Riverdale, Jonesboro. And
so is Riverdale still considered Atlanta?
It's Clayton County. It's the metro, but it's Clayton County. It's not Fulton County.
Ah,
so that's how. So Atlanta pretty much has gotten rid of pretty much almost all of their projects. It was just very gradual over time while they gentrifying the city, and they can continue to gentrify the city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Nashville too. Nashville tore down all these projects. They're like, we're going to build new affordable housing.
Yeah.
Well, why are we putting all the people out? That's like,
yeah.
And so when they do finish it,
you never really, like you said, they move them so far out, you never see those people again. They've got rid of projects in Orlando. I don't know where the people went.
To the edge.
Don't know where they went. Yeah, to this day, I ain't seen them. So they doing that everywhere. That land now is so valuable that you just got to go.
Like,
you
so
just got to go.
Real
you just got to go. You. So that's what they do. Because in other parts of the world, that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they put their poor and lower class people way, way, way outside the city. So y'all just don't bother nobody.
Y'all go panhandle over there.
Exactly. So just don't bother nobody. America's different than where we build a lot of our housing projects in the city center.
Mm-hmm.
But other parts of the world, they build their projects up just way, way out. So y'all just don't bother nobody.
Right.
And whatever y'all do out there, that's between y'all and y'all. Because
really, the sheriff.
Yeah, exactly. Because we don't want y'all negatively impacting business. Because there's a reason why downtown Atlanta in certain parts doesn't look a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still moving that around. Like Midtown's nice, but you still got other parts. Give it time. They'll improve those areas because they just have many poor people down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
somebody said Clayton County sucks. And then Brandy said, please don't do Clayton County like that.
Yeah, Clayton County decent. I mean, you know, it is what it is.
They said, so is ATL securing that belt line with high prices?
Yeah, definitely. Everything around the belt line, because we talked about Vine City. Vine City's on the belt line. Everything on the belt line, the real estate is going to be a lot more expensive because of the belt line and what they're going to be building around there. And they told us about the belt line over a decade ago. You can go look it up on the map. So definitely everything around the belt line is going to be way, way more expensive. So that's their plans for the city. They're looking to annex more land, but they're really looking to continue to densify the city of Atlanta, make it a lot more dense, bring a lot more people in, and continuing to raise the cost of what it costs to live inside the city. That's not going to change.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, listen, we've taken up almost 2 hours of this time. I respect it. I love it. Thank you so much. You know, it's Christmas. I know a lot of y'all going to be halfway checked out for the rest of the year. And
I feel you.
Partly your girls on vacation too, because I've already charted out what my plans are. I done made my commercials. I'm excited. I even used the word assignment today in one of my commercials. I said, let me go ahead and grab that word from Diamond Dave real quick.
Yeah.
I just want y'all to understand it's a lot of motion, a lot of change going on. You need to have some type of skill that can put money in your pocket.
Definitely.
And it may not be daily. It may be weekly. It may be monthly. I'm pretty sure Diamond Dave got stuff coming in January, February, March that's going to come in and just be like a little blessing to his pocket. Right.
Yeah.
The way I talk about digital marketing, affiliate marketing today, I looked up, I had a commission of $1,000 in a company I ain't promoted in 6 months.
Good deal.
And so it's one of those things where you put it out there, you market it, it will come back to you. It's just, you have to decide which type of skill y'all going to invest in. Okay. You really got to. Diamond Dave, somebody want to thank you for that ally that you said, S&P 604.
Okay, appreciate it, man.
For sure. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm still long to S&P too.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you guys. This is your girl Erica Classy Climb blog. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the outro. Thank you so much, Diamond Dave, for being here. If you hold on 1 second, that'd be great. You know, when I want to do something, the computer want to trip. Okay, wait a minute here. Stop it. Spend the next 4 years complaining about Donald Trump. I suggest you don't. I suggest you figure out what's your assignment. I suggest you figure out what are ways you can increase your income, because the country's changing. Many states are going to start having no state income tax because they're trying to entice seniors and retirees and young people to come to their state. Why? Because overall taxes are going to go up. That just is a given. Now, how can you fight that? You can fight that through business ownership, investment, or other types of ownership. I know the average person says, Erica, I just don't want to be a landlord. It's too tedious. And I go, hey, paper assets may be your best friend. Coaching may be your best friend. Micro groups may be your best friend. Figure out where you're going to get in this process. I've actually been able to build 2 different brands, online e-commerce, putting products on Amazon. That would never be in my cards a couple years ago until recently, until I started reaching out and putting products on TikTok. I'm not a TikTok user. I don't go on TikTok like that, but I actually have products through my TikTok shop, and I also put those products on Amazon. Why did that happen? Because I realized the economy was changing. Things were changing. Things were growing. And people are going to spend the next 4 years being mad about Donald Trump instead of figuring out, how can I invest in stocks better? How can I invest for my retirement? How can I have properties other than just being a landlord? If I don't want to do that, what are some paper opportunity investments that I can make? Not just crypto either. So listen, this is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. Definitely check out more information at Digital Liberty Warriors. I'm out here on the beach with my family in a 30-bedroom beach house. Why? Because it's one of the best times for us to come together, plan, storm, and brainstorm what we're going to do for the next year, all the way to the next 4 years. Listen, you guys are going to see a lot of changes. Be prepared for them. Don't complain. Don't cry. Don't be upset about the president. Figure out what you're going to do to make your family healthy and strong in this economy. All right, let me get on out of here. You've probably been seeing these commercials for middleman to middleman.